Part 24. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 235. In the Xin Chen Palace, Bai Lao also received the task assigned to him by the master of the Xin Chen Palace and called together the 30 disciples who participated in the competition. Elder, what is it this time? It's so mysterious, Senior asked Mr. Bai. Senior, don't be anxious, I'll tell you slowly. In this game, there is only one task, which is to place these little things in a fixed location. Lao Bai took out something that looked like an iron nail given by the master of the Star Palace, but the color was the unique star color of their Star Palace. Well, also, this is the place where these things are inserted, they are all on the map. Bai Lao, it's that simple, so how do you decide the winner? Sulinger was a little confused. This is too simple. This is just a mission. Their 4 major forces are the same as the map we got, so there will definitely be a battle. So your mission is to occupy as many of these places as possible and then put this thing in. Elder, what if someone else replaces you after we let him go? You don't need to worry about this. Only after you take someone else's field from the battle can you put their own mission props in it. And after you arrive at a venue, if someone else has placed a mission prop, you can put your mission prop on it, and their location will be sensed. If you defeat them, their mission prop will disappear and you can put away your mission props. Everyone nodded and understood the rules here. Next, you allocate it yourself. Everyone has mission props and maps, and there are a lot of mission props, so don't be afraid of wasting them. Sulinger and Senior divided the team into 5 groups, with 6 people in each group. Sulinger led a group of people. She was the only one in the Saint realm, and the others were all at the peak of the title of king. But with her Saint King the strength of the Holy Realm is enough. The remaining 4 groups, the group led by Senior, have 3 Holy Realm disciples, and the other 3 groups have all 4 Holy Realm disciples. This can ensure that each group can exert its maximum strength and be able to disperse their actions. In addition, they are still hiding their realms. There is nothing suspicious about this grouping. The 3 exposed Holy Realms each brought a team, allowing everyone to see the distribution method of the Star Palace. In fact, Sulinger's group sealed Wangdinger is the most powerful, because there are no disciples of the Saint King realm on the entire battlefield. I don't know if they are hiding, but Sulinger can now challenge more than a dozen people in the same realm, and she doesn't care about these. An hour passed quickly, and each force had arranged its own team. Sure enough, the distribution of the other 4 major forces was exactly the same as that of the Star Palace, with 5 teams. Bai Lao and He Lao laughed. Without saying anything more, the Underworld Palace and the Beast King Pavilion are allocated in this way. Don't you want to lose? The reason why their Xin Chen Palace did this is to cover up their strength, and secondly to target the Underworld Palace and the Beast King Pavilion. This time it's time to get some interest from them. Mr. Bai and Mr. He know that once they change their formations, Huangquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion will definitely change their formations against them, so now they are paralyzed and wait for them to take the bait themselves. This would allow Sulinger and the others to hide for a few more days, otherwise it would be bad to expose their strength too early. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 236. I announce that the new 5-sect competition will now begin. All contestants are invited to appear. By the way, there will be an age limit for the contestants this time when they compete in the first game. Only those under the age of 16 are allowed to participate. All major forces, is there anyone to replace? The major forces did not speak. They had already mentioned this rule before the distribution. Now they are just letting the spectators know the rules of the first game. The teams of the 5 major forces stepped onto the battlefield, and the 5 leaders teleported them. A bright light flashed, and everyone disappeared on the battlefield. A huge mirror appeared on the battlefield. The scene inside was obviously a new space scene. The spectators could see the disciples of the five major forces descending into the space. Moreover, the place of teleportation was obviously carefully planned, and the five major forces were all teleported together by their own teams. Sulinger, Singer, and others looked at this space curiously. This space was quite desolate. It was nothing. Good environment, everyone feels that it is not very comfortable here. It seems that the locations we teleported are based on the marks on the map. Singer took the map in her hand and looked at her current location. We should be in the northwest of this space now. The position of this blue dot is where we are now. Let's discuss where to start from. Sister Linger, do you have any ideas? Sienna asks Sulinger for her opinion. Let me take a look. There are now 3 routes on this map, which means that we will definitely not encounter other teams in the early stage, so we don't have to worry about fighting them now. I have a plan. We first occupy the 5 nearest mission sites and wait for them to come over slowly. Then we draw out 2 teams and sweep them all out. How about that? Well, this is a good plan, but can we do this? Will they unite to target us? It doesn't matter. We will rearrange the team when the time comes. So after everyone occupied the 5 nearest mission locations, they started their own training. Because the martial arts Sulinger taught them was wonderful, they wished they had to come to participate in this 5-sect competition. Now they have in such a quiet environment, I can finally learn martial arts. People from the outside world saw that other forces have begun to occupy the mission site crazily. Only the Star Palace was silent, but the 5 teams each guarded a mission site. Obviously there was no movement. Means to attack. Hey, aren't you, Star Palace, planning to fight this time? Why is there no movement? Huan Quanzi asked He Lao. What's wrong, are you afraid of our Star Palace? We have nothing to do with you at all times. Just take care of yourselves. I hope you won't lose too badly this time. Huan Quanzi snorted and stopped talking to He Lao. Of course He Lao was too lazy to talk to him, but he felt that Singer and the others would not want to let go, and they should have their own plans. Sulinger took out the map, watching the light spots on it light up little by little. I immediately understood the function of the map. I didn't expect that the map could have such a function, which would be much more convenient. Sister Singer, we can almost implement the plan. You see, the Tiandihui has basically occupied half of the mission locations, Kenya has occupied a small half, and only Huanquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion are left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 237. But I guess with their personalities, they will definitely see our jokes. They have now occupied 10 mission locations. It seems that they want to hide at the end, and maybe they can rob us. Sister Linger, shall we take action? Singer asked. They assigned Singer and Sulinger to the same team, and the rest of the Holy Realm stayed behind. Sulinger originally thought there would be a big battle here, but she didn't expect that there would be an age here. Limitation, the masters of the opposing force are all over this age, which is equivalent to there being only 4 saint realms in the entire space. There will be 2 disciples who have just entered the saint realm in Tiandi, and Kenya also has 2 disciples who have entered the saint realm for the first time. The remaining 2 forces were completely absent, which made Sulinger very speechless. Suddenly she thought of something. Could this be done by her father? Is his father so reliable? Suchanga really wanted to come out and talk to Suling. The child reasoned, when did your father and I become unreliable? You are slandering your own father. Suchanga had already considered what happened today, so he secretly added this restriction to this space. No way, who asked his precious daughter to ask for it? I can only feel sorry for them. Sister Singer, let's go. The Heaven and Earth Society has stopped advancing for a while. It seems that they want to wait for someone to break the deadlock in advance, so let's help them. After that, the 6 people started to leave. The first place they chose was Huangquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion. They took care of these guys first, and then had a good time with Tiandi Hui and Kenyet. People outside noticed that Star Palace was starting to leave. Immediately turned their attention to them. What they saw was Singer from the Star Palace leading her team to prepare to set off. It seemed that that direction should be where the disciples of the Underworld Palace stayed. Old man, hey, are you from Xing Chen Palace going to die with us? You think you can take down our Huangquan Palace with just 1 star? You are too naive. Hey, Huangquanzi, when you cry later, I won't bother to pay attention to you. Hey Lao stroked his beard, and Singer took Linger girl there. Isn't that a crushing situation? He said that he was really grateful for this 5-sect competition. He didn't expect that this space has an age limit. Isn't this specially set up for their Xing Chen Palace? Those disciples who broke through to the Holy Realm are all under the age limit. This first level really made them not expect that. When did their Xing Chen Palace's luck become so good? It's really so happy. The disciples of Huangquan Palace will definitely cry after a while. Look, the disciples of the Star Palace are about to come into contact with the disciples of the Underworld Palace, the viewers below shouted. Since the beginning until now, everyone has not seen the battle. This is not as good as the previous 5-sect competitions. Now it can finally start. However, the next scene is a bit incredible. Everyone they thought they were just being dazzled. Sulinger, Singer and the others met a group of disciples from Huangquan Palace and directly locked them in place. Then they were tied up without any resistance and thrown aside. They are going to trap everyone here first, and then they slowly release the mission props. This is the safest way. There is no way. The body holding technique given by Suchanga is too easy to use, and with Sulinger they are invincible if they perform in their own realm. Their highest level is only the Saint Realm, and there is no Saint Realm in this team. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 238. The people outside were stunned. It was over so quickly. What happened just now? Some people even rubbed their eyes, but all they saw were the Huangquan Palace disciples who were tied up like rice dumplings. Huangquanzi, have you seen it? Your disciples are really rubbish. Hey old man, what are you so awesome about? Isn't it because there are Saint Realm disciples in your team? There are no Holy Realm disciples in our team, otherwise your Singer will definitely be maimed. Haha, Huangquanzi, let's make a bet. If your Holy Realm disciples can catch Singer's move, we Xing Chen Palace disciples will take a detour when we see you Huangquan Palace disciples. Okay, old man, hey, this is what you said, just wait, there will be something interesting for you in the second show later. Huangquanzi looked at Mr. Hay and was very unconvinced. After Sulinger and the others cleaned up the first group of Huangquan Palace disciples, they continued to sweep the entire space. Since their goals were very clear and they were not in a hurry to complete the task, they had no power. Knowing that their Star Palace had taken action. An hour later, Sulinger and the others found another group of Huangquan Palace disciples. The result was still the same, without causing too much trouble. The spectators outside could clearly see their moves this time. The youngest girl in the team waved her hand, and all 6 people could not move. What kind of move was this? I had never seen it before. Sulinger didn't care about the eyes of the spectators outside. They needed to quickly sweep the entire space now. Otherwise, when the Heaven and Earth Society takes action, their Xing Chen Palace will expose too much strength. Even if only 4 holy realms are exposed, it will make other forces wary. How could so many holy realms suddenly appear in the Xing Chen Palace? They will definitely be targeted in the second game. Even if they are not afraid of being targeted, they still have to be hindered. Sulinger will never allow this to happen. She must ensure a beautiful victory. The disciples of Huan Quan Palace in the third team also it quickly fell down. The spectators outside had no hope for this first match now, because the Huan Quan Palace disciples from the third team had the same fate. Singer didn't take action at all, it was still Sulinger who took action. Crush him directly. Huan Quanzi was dumbfounded. He did not expect this to be the case. Haha, Huan Quanzi, look at it, I'm going to piss you off, you disciples of Huan Quan Palace are really not good enough. Huan Quanzi has no temper now. The little girl in the Star Palace is too scary. Is that a move that the Peak King can perform? What a liar. But there is no way for everyone to believe it, because there are no saints in these two factions. In such a situation, it was impossible to test Sulinger's true strength. At this time, all the audience had the same idea, that is, the little girl from the Star Palace directly dominated the entire battlefield. At this time, Sulinger and others had already moved the Beast King Pavilion. They were all killed. Hey, with Sulinger here, there was no pressure at all. Those disciples at the peak of the title of king had never been so happy. The disciples who usually bullied them and everyone in the Star Hall were given special care, especially Kurong of Huan Quan Palace. After being so angry that Sulinger spurted blood last time, he was stripped naked by Sulinger this time. All the audience looked at the white flowers on the mirror and felt it was a bit eye-catching. It was too cruel. Oh, this is a little witch. Everyone couldn't help but shudder, feeling a little chilly on their bodies. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 239. Everyone could already imagine Kurong's expression after he woke up. The child probably wanted to die. The disciples of the Beast King Pavilion also received special care. These big men were all hung on the rocks by Sulinger. She had often heard about the bullying of the girls in their Star Palace by these barbarians. Now they should all pay the price. From today on, the Star Palace will be out of its previous predicament and will no longer be looked down upon by some small forces. Some forces should also consider making friends with the Star Palace, which should rise in the next few years. Sulinger took a look at the map. After clearing up the Underworld Palace and the Beast King Pavilion, the Star Palace now occupied a quarter of the mission location. Let's just take down the Heaven and Earth Club. Singer glanced at Sulinger and expressed that she had no objection. Sulinger then led everyone towards the Tiandihui site. The Tiandihui now occupies so many mission sites, and I don't know how their guards are distributed. Sulinger and others headed towards the Tiandihui territory from the direction of the Beast King Pavilion, and found that no one was guarding it. They just put the mission props here and left, obviously not believing that the Beast King Pavilion would come to challenge them. Sulinger didn't care about this. What she wanted to do now was to clean up the four major forces in the space. There was really no need to waste time on placing mission props. An hour later, Sulinger and the others caught two teams of Tiandihui disciples, none of whom were in the Saint realm. Sister Linger, it seems that the disciples of the Tiandihui are not ready to take action again. They want to win the first game, and Kenya continues to want to be the second. Underscore just wait quietly for the end of this game. Anyway, no one will come back to challenge their Tiandihui, and those lunatics in the Star Palace should not easily cause a fight. Let's go, Sister Singer. Since they don't want to do anything, let's let them rest for a while. After knocking out the third team of Tiandihui disciples, they flew directly towards the two teams of Tiandihui disciples with the Saint realm without any hesitation. The spectators below wanted to know what the Saint realm of the Star Hall would be like. She doesn't know how to fight, and is that little girl really at the peak level of the king? Why were other peak kings killed in front of her without resisting? These questions are common to all spectators, but they are destined to disappointing them, Sulinger would not take action at all. After meeting the fourth team of the Tiandihui, Sulinger did not take action again. This time it was Singer who used the same moves and the same result. A saint-level disciple with 5 king-level peaks was taken down this time. He really had no resistance at all. Not to mention the people watching the battle, even the saint-level disciple didn't react. The Star Palace, as soon as the girl waved her hand, he wouldn't move. No matter how he used his spiritual power, he couldn't break through that restraint. He watched himself being tied up and then knocked unconscious. He had never been so big. So deceived. The audience also understood that apart from the little girl, Singer was also very fierce. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 240. Only 2 people from the Star Palace took action from the beginning to the end this time. One was at the peak of being a king, and the other was at the saint level. They dominated the entire first battle without any suspense. The last team of the Tiandihui was also captured by Sulinger and others without any effort. Okay, now I'm taking Singer to clean up Kenyes' team. The 4 of you are divided into 2 teams. One team goes to the territory of Beast King Pavilion to place mission props, and the other team goes to the territory of Huangquan Palace to place mission props. Remember, you can only place mission props when Kenyes' location on the map changes. The 4 of them got Sulinger's order and left the team. Now only Singer is left. Sister Singer, let's just divide our forces into 2 groups and see who can capture Kenya first. Okay, Sister Linger, let's compare. The audience outside looked at the operation of the Star Palace and couldn't react. Is this really good for you? Can't you give others a face? You have already wiped out the 3 major forces, and you still have to kill Kenya. And everyone, you can see that the Xin Chen Palace has disbanded the team, leaving only the little girl and Singer flying to Kenya's territory. This really doesn't treat Kenya as a human being, but these 2 girls are too. It's scary. I really don't know what their real fighting power is. This 5-sect competition is really the most boring one. It's better to just start the fight like before, there is so much passion. The leaders of the other 4 major forces are. He fixed his gaze on the master of the Xin Chen Palace, who also shook his head, as if he didn't know. It wasn't that he was deceiving the masters of the 4 major forces, but that he didn't know what the situation was. Singer, he knew that he had never seen that girl before. She must be a new disciple who had joined recently, and the moves she performed were definitely not from the Xin Chen Palace. How could the Xin Chen Palace have such powerful moves? If so, the Xin Chen Palace would not. Every time they were bullied by Huangquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion, they had been defeated long ago. After Sulinger and Singer separated, they searched for Kenyes' team from the left, and Singer searched for Kenyes' team from the right. The reason why they were Kenyes stayed at the end because Kenyes' movement skills were a bit difficult to find, and now he could find them slowly. Sulinger quickly flew over every mission location of Kenya, searching for everyone. Their movement skills, although it is wonderful, there is nothing special about her. Among the skills given by her father, there is a special skill for finding killers. Poor Kenya has no idea that she has been targeted. Kenya's killers are still. They were planning to wait until the end of the day to sneak attack on the Tiandihui. However, they were quickly found by Singer and Sulinger. Sulinger found the 3rd team, and Singer found the 2 teams, and they were all taken down instantly. There was no chance to escape. The audience outside was no longer surprised. The other 3 major forces had fallen, and Kenya was definitely not much better. However, Kenya's disciples were very depressed. Could it be that their concealment skills had failed? What's going on? As a killer, he was tied up before he even had a chance to escape. It's really too miserable. Kenya's killers have never been so aggrieved. They all have doubts about their profession. Is it because they are too good, or is the killer now the most rubbish existence? I really can't figure it out, but they have already fainted, so let's think about it in their dreams. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, daughter wrong. Chapter 241. Sulinger doesn't care about that, she can finally end the boring battle here. If she had known it was so easy, she wouldn't have to look for her father. It would be really unnecessary. Sulinger began to put the mission props into Kenya's territory. Slowly, one of Kenya's mission sites turned into the color of stars. The other disciples of the Star Palace were all staring at the map, watching the color of stars appear, knowing that the plan is complete. So they also started to leave the territory where they started, and went to the mission location on the map to start placing mission props. Soon, the color on the entire map turned into the color of stars. The Star Palace won the first game of this 5-sect competition. The audience had never been so puzzled. Is this really a 5-sect competition? Why does it feel so sloppy? Leng Kangmang, the president of the Heaven and Earth Society, said, I announce that the winner of this first battle of the 5-sects competition is the Star Palace. The mission completion rate is 300%, and the mission has been exceeded. Oh, how great, the disciples of the Star Palace cried out happily. The disciples of the other 4 major forces looked embarrassed and felt that there was no light on their faces. They were directly destroyed by others in the first game. The most embarrassing ones were the disciples of the Underworld Palace. Because the withering appearance is still in front of everyone. Okay, now the disciples of the major forces have teleported back to their resting places. The second game will start tomorrow. I hope everyone can perform better. In the resting place of the Star Palace, Singer and others gathered together, their faces full of excitement. They have never won any type of 5-sect competition so easily. This year in Sulinger, under his leadership, he defeated the 4 major forces without spending any energy, and also taught the disciples of Beast King Pavilion and Huangquan Palace a lesson. It was really refreshing. Sister Linger, if we do this, aren't we afraid that the other 4 major forces will join forces to target us? Siener asks Sulinger. Hee, what we want is for them to target us. We have been low-key for so long, and it's time to come back with a high profile this time. Don't worry, we will definitely win the group competition. Have you all practiced your martial arts to a small level? If we practice hard enough, we will definitely win, so the disciples of the Star Hall said together. Don't worry, you will also have a great advantage in tomorrow's second game. Tomorrow's second game will be a big melee. This is the strength of our Star Palace. Lao Bai came from the other side and told everyone the rules of tomorrow's game. By Lao, this is because the other 4 major forces want to attack us together. This kind of fighting method is our advantage on the surface, but in fact they want to clean us out first, Sulinger frowned. Haha, girl Linger, you can see it, but you don't need to worry, isn't this more beneficial to you? Now the thing that our Xin Chen Palace is least afraid of is group fights. By Lao, I always feel that they must have a premeditated plan, but we are absolutely sure of victory, don't worry, Sulinger. No matter what their premeditations are, she only believes in her own strength. Now that the Star Palace has this strength, the martial arts Suchanga gave will definitely surprise the 4 major forces. Sulinger can't wait. I haven't fought for a long time, and I miss the feeling of fighting. I hope that the 4 major forces will have more exciting opponents tomorrow, otherwise it will be too boring. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, daughter wrong. Chapter 242. The day passed quickly, and next came the fierce battle scene that everyone was most looking forward to. Due to the existence of the Star Palace, everyone saw nothing in the first battle, so it was very regrettable, but the masters of the 5 major forces have jointly announced the rules for the second battle. The second battle will be in a melee mode, so the battle will be very fierce. They all want to know how the disciples of the Star Palace will perform during the battle. The early morning sun shines through the clouds and shines on the ancient battle platform in the central mountains. There are faint roars of battle coming from it. If you get closer, you will definitely feel the strong fighting spirit contained in it. Boom, boom, boom. 3 big drums resounded through the sky, indicating that the second game of the 5-sect competition was about to begin. The viewing area outside was already full of people, and some people even used up their spiritual energy to stop and watch in the air, because the place was it's too small to accommodate so many people. Under the spotlight, the leaders of the 5 major forces each lined up and came to the ancient battle platform. Let's start the battle. The 5 people roared, and at the same time they continuously injected their spiritual power into the ancient battle platform. As the 5 energies merged, the battle platform made a buzzing sound. Then a space battle platform appeared on top of the ancient battle platform. On the top, the battle platform expanded rapidly and finally stayed in the air. 5 light pillars extended from the battle platform and stayed in the rest areas of the major forces. The 5 leaders stopped injecting spiritual power and returned to their respective forces. Okay, now that the battle stage has begun, let me introduce the rules of the second game. Leng Kangmang, the president of Tiandihui, continues to act as a referee and at the same time announces the rules of the competition to the contestants. After joint deliberations by the 5 major forces, we decided that the second game would take the form of a big melee, and the person who finally stayed in the battle space would win. Next, I announced that the second game had officially started and invited the contestants to enter the battle platform. After the words fell, the disciples of the Tiandihui appeared on the battlefield first, followed by the disciples of Kenya, then the Huangquan Palace and the Beast King Pavilion, and finally the disciples of the Star Palace. The 5 major forces descended on a super large circle together. On the circular platform, each force appeared in its own position, dividing the entire circular platform into 5 parts. Solinger and Singer stood at the front of the Star Hall team, followed by 28 disciples. All contestants quickly adapted to the stage space, and the competition will begin after half a stick of incense. Now they still have a protective barrier, so they are not afraid of sudden attacks from others. After half a stick of incense, the barrier disappears and everyone will be exposed to their own vision. Then the melee will begin. Sister Linger, have you seen that the Beast King Pavilion and Huangquan Palace are preparing to form an alliance, while Kenya and Tiandi Club are silent? Do you think that after the barrier disappears, the 4 of them will attack us at the same time? Sister Singer, I think this probability should be very high, but I am completely sure to neutralize all their attacks. You must hurry up when the time comes. If you play with them slowly, Huangquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion will definitely attack them first, that's for sure. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 243. The second situation is that the 4 major forces attack at the same time. Solinger comes to block their first wave of attacks. The Holy Realm disciples in the team immediately clear out the Beast King Pavilion and Huangquan Palace. The fighting platform space here is very special. When a person is in mortal danger, he will be teleported out of the fighting platform, so everyone can fight freely without worrying about any accidents. Solinger could tell how many Saint Realms there were in Huangquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion at a glance. There were 4 Saint Realms in Huangquan Palace and 5 Saint Realms in Beast King Pavilion. There was no pressure at all. Everyone in the battle platform space has raised their spiritual power and is ready to attack at any time. The time of half a stick of incense passed quickly, and the protective shield in front of the 5 major forces began to slowly become thinner, and finally disappeared. At the moment when the shield disappeared, the leading disciples of the other four major forces secretly made moves, but people outside could not see such small moves at all. Then all the attacks from the four major forces were concentrated on the Star Palace. Sulinger smiled. These guys were quite smart and not too arrogant, otherwise there would be no challenge. Sulinger directly exploded all her spiritual power and used 10,000 swords Chao Zong against Tiandi Hui and Kenya. The sword light in the sky hit the disciples of Tiandi Hui and Kenya overwhelmingly. Their disciples instantly defended themselves. Sulinger wanted this effect. The disciples of the Star Palace behind her rushed towards the Beast King Pavilion and Huan Quan Palace in an instant. Senior Saint King Realm cultivation all exploded, leading 4 Saint Realm disciples and 7 Peak King disciples to attack Huan Quan Palace, while the remaining 10 Saint King Realm disciples led the remaining disciples to attack the Beast King Pavilion. The disciples of Xin Chen Palace have very strong fighting ability. Senior blocked 2 Saint-level disciples from Huan Quan Palace, and 2 of the remaining 4 Saint-level disciples stopped the remaining 2, and the 2 led the remaining disciples into the killing place. Into the crowd. The 2 Saint-level disciples were killing each other in the Huan Quan Palace team, and no one could stop them. Senior directly used the martial arts given to her by Sulinger, instantly destroying a saint. Another saint was blasted out of the battlefield space without even taking 10 moves in her hands. When Senior ended the battle, the 2 saint-level disciples over there had eliminated all the other disciples in Huan Quan Palace, leaving only the 2 disciples who were still being pestered. You go to support that side first. The 3 of us will arrive soon. Hurry. The 2 saint-level disciples over there immediately led the remaining disciples to the Beast King Pavilion. There were 5 saint-level disciples here, and the 2 disciples of the Star Palace fought against each other, suppressing them. Their current mission it is to control the situation, and it does not matter whether it is a group fight or a one-on-one fight. Although the disciples of the Beast King Pavilion have been clamoring for a one-on-one duel, the disciples of the Star Palace ignored them at all. Fighting with these barbarians is too boring, there is no need, or just clear them out and fight against the Tiandihui and Kenya. These people are not worthy of their action. In the past competitions, the Star Palace was defeated by them in will battles, and they will not show mercy to them now. The support from Huan Quan Palace they arrived in less than a few minutes, and the disciples of the Star Hall sped up the fighting speed. Now Sulinger was carrying the Heaven and Earth Society alone and fighting Kenya's 60 people. Every time they were slower, Sulinger would be faster. Danger. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 244. Although Sulinger is now in the Saint King realm, it is still a bit difficult for one person to fight against so many people. 2 minutes later, Senior ended the battle there and brought the remaining 2 people to the Beast King Pavilion. With Senior joining, the pressure on the saint-level disciples in the Beast King Pavilion doubled. 3 people were eliminated in a short while, and the remaining 2 couldn't last much longer. Senior immediately left the battle and headed towards Sulinger's side to support him. Tiandi Hui and Kenya here were caught off guard by Sulinger's Wanji and Chao Zong from the beginning. They did not expect Sulinger's attack to be so high. There was an unlucky disciple who failed to defend himself and was directly eliminated with a sword. The other disciples were so frightened that they quickly filled their bodies with spiritual power. Although Sulinger expanded the scope of Wanji and Chao Zong several times, it was still very fatal to some ordinary disciples. After all, Sulinger's sword light contains sword intent, and the sword intent doubled the attack power of her sword light. Sulinger used the 4 seasons sword technique at this time, and there were 2 ideal spaces in front of her, one of ice and one of fire, creating a sword intention space with 2 heavens of ice and fire. Kenya and the disciples of the Tiandihui couldn't get into her body at all, so they had to take a detour. But Senior had already arrived and forced them back. Senior came to Sulinger. Sister Linger, the threat over there has been eliminated. They will arrive in a few minutes. Let's take a step back. Sulinger nodded. Such a large-scale use of sword techniques consumed a lot of her spiritual power. Fortunately, she was in the Saint King realm, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to withstand such a huge consumption. She has been using 10,000 swords Chao Zone. In just a short period of time, she had used 10,000 swords Chao Zone 30 times before she could completely stop the team of 60 people. If it weren't for the unlucky guy who was eliminated first, which relieved her a little bit of pressure, otherwise, she was almost exhausted. Sulinger left the sword intention space here and withdrew to the back. After a while, all the disciples from the Star Hall came back. The Underworld Palace and the Beast King Pavilion had all been eliminated, and all their fighting power was peak state, and the consumption of spiritual power is also very small. They have always carried the spiritual liquid given by Sulinger, and after taking a sip, they almost replenished all the spiritual power consumed in the battle. There was no way, who could let Suling. They surrounded Sulinger in the middle and let Sulinger recover her spiritual power. Sulinger took out the wine gourd and drank a few sips. The spiritual power inside immediately restored Sulinger to its peak. It's completely like cheating. There is no need to explain the life of cheating. The sword intention space over there has dissipated, and the Tiandihui and Kanyi's disciples inside are confused. What happened just now? Can anyone explain it? Before their moves were released, they were dispersed by the oncoming sword light. Then the sword light never stopped, and they hurriedly defended. Just when they were about to rush out of the sword light, they suddenly found themselves in front of them. Another ice and fire sword space appeared. After stepping into it, I found that it was more terrifying than the sword light outside. This operation made the disciples of Tiandihui and Kenya miserable. Now that these attacks are finally gone, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. It's really too miserable. If I had known better, I wouldn't have agreed to the invitation from the Underworld Palace and the Beast King Pavilion. They are just cheating people. I must go to them later to settle the score. These cheaters.